But we just talked about this last on the 28th, and we brought this back as quickly as possible. So we've got some new documents that we were to consider. So Joe and Kathy, were you going to go over the new documents that came in, or do you want to just open a discussion on what we've got? It'd be good to show some of the information that we got. And I've got some of the stuff up on my screen if you want me to share, or if you want to share, or however you want to do this. Do you want to have the petitioners kind of show us what they've put together since the last meeting? We can do that too.
Mr. Chair, I'll let Ms. Arnett and you decide who wants to share a screen. We should have the same information, but you may want to do it as the chair. But before having the petitioners provide an explanation of the information, again, I just want to kind of recapsulize what we talked about on the 28th of January and why we're here today. As you know, the current service station is on the city's historic register. It has been for an extended period of time. It was done by the current owner and previous business that occupied there. The property has been on the market for an extended period of time. So currently there is no tenant in the space. The department prepared a recommendation report regarding this matter, and that was provided to the commission members on January 28th. It was favorable in allowing the overhead doors to be installed on the addition to the original current service station. In that report, the department did provide some rationales for the recommendation, the favorable recommendation, one of which is that it is the addition to the historic service station itself. Acknowledging that, the commission was concerned about the appearance, and rightly so, because again, it is a historic asset of the city, so to speak. At the conclusion of the meeting on January 28th, there was a request to make certain modifications and provide additional information, and that is the subject of tonight's meeting. I will note that there has been a conversation, so to speak, via email about the submittal. Some of that information has been provided to Mr. St. Onge and hopefully the petitioners. And also, this matter will be at the Architectural Review Board tomorrow night. Again, the property is in town center, and any alterations to buildings in town center of a commercial nature must be reviewed by the Architectural Review Board. So I'll conclude with that. And at this stage, Mr. Chair, we could either have the petitioners review the information they provided, and then we can kind of go from there if you'd like. Thank you.
And I think we just got to be clear that what we're discussing today is we're going to make a determination whether, from our standpoint as the Historic Preservation Commission, that the alteration is acceptable to us, and then that goes to the Architectural Review Board to get into the details of the doors themselves and the design part of things. Is that correct, Joe and Kathy?
Generally speaking, yes. Obviously, Mr. Scott, who has expertise in this area, has offered some suggestions and identified some concerns. I think those will be the same as what the Architectural Review Board will identify tomorrow night based upon the chair's comments from that board. So I think it's fair to the petitioners that we try to solve it here as best we can and advise the Architectural Review Board of the decision.
And to give them as much guidance as possible, correct?
Exactly, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So there was a few things that have gone, I'm sure on my screen now. So there's a few things that have been submitted. So there's this document here. And this is actually, to the Historic Preservation Commission. We're not the Historical Society, so luckily we're not there. We're the commission, but they showed some example. There's the site right there. There's the the Manchester Road side, as well as the back side of the property from the driveway. And then there's some examples of historic service stations and commercial doors. This is a rear example. And then they showed us two options, and these are just, I suspect they're photoshopped in here. So that's with a white door with a black molding around it, and then black doors with a black molding around it. And then this just came in, I believe this was this just today, Joe?
This package was provided prior to today. Hopefully you've had it more than today. It also included some of this information as well.
So we got this before, but then these additional sheets that showed more of a panel door were added.
And I would defer to Kathy to kind of sequence this. She was the primary person on the packet. I apologize.
Sure. The first few pages that showed the excuse me, the renderings were submitted last week via email from the petitioner. And then the model 594, I think that information was dropped off by the petitioner. It was either Monday, I think it might have been Monday, and that was posted there. And then the revised architectural renderings were posted at the same time. So it was late Monday, I think, when my days are running together, but when that was posted.
Thank you,
And
Kathy.
then, the architectural renderings don't do as much for me as the other, but these just didn't give me a really good picture of what those doors look like. But these are the revised architectural document that we got. And I believe there was some confusion that I had between the panel door and the roll-up door, because we were talking roll-up door at the 28th meeting, and then at some point it shifted to a panel door. So if somebody can clarify that would be really good for all of us, because I got a little confused when I start seeing some different types of doors there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here and having us today. After the meeting, we met with a couple garage door companies. We took in all of your feedback. We really wanted to make it look as historically accurate as we could within taking your feedback. We got rid of the pillars that you guys didn't like. We got rid of that man door, making it as simple as possible. I know that there was some requests to make it look like a more residential style door. So in that packet, page 10, are the examples of more of the panel style doors, which we felt the commission was asking for. In the Photoshop photo, it's kind of just more to show you where the two doors would be set up. I did that. They're obviously not to scale. They obviously don't have all the detail in them. It's just more to give you an idea where things will be set up. That old window will be taken out, it's broken, and then the man door that's currently there, that's falling apart, will be replaced with a door as well. And we put in the proposal packet similar historic service stations. I think the Sinclair station looked almost exactly like it. So we just wanted to show that this wasn't too far off from other historic service stations, that this is something you would see quite regularly. And personally, I think it looks better than what's at the front of the building currently, with the man door and the window.
And with doing so, we were able to find a panel door to suit everybody's needs, from a steel commercial roll-up door to a panel door. It kind of gives it a little bit more character. It does help out with the historical value of the building. So we're really confident in it, and we went through every option that they have, and I believe this is the best one.
And well, let's go. So now I just wanted to show something that I just found. This is the service station down the street, but right by the Wildwood Middle School. So this is on the historic register also, correct, Joe and Kathy?
It is part of the survey, but the owner of the property does not want it on the register.
Okay. So what I noticed is
Paul, are you sharing the right screen at this point?
I thought I was.
No, we don't see it.
Yeah, we still see the architectural drawing.
Look good.
Paul, you just turned into a cat.
Hope I didn't. I don't have any cats on my screen.
No, I'm kidding. It was in the news yesterday.
Okay.
Today.
So that's down the street. So that's a similar type door, I think, that you were showing, Nick and Lauren.
Correct.
Is it size wise? Is that similar or just style?
It's the same style. That is a, of course, that's a little bit shorter and smaller than what we need. But that's just like a hollow door. So
yep.
The ones we put on are very, very nice. So we just try to give you guys both colors of white and black to pick out whatever you guys would like.
And the molding on the white door can also be white. I mean, whatever coloring you guys like best. I mean, we can get that all figured out.
I'm not sure. I have an opinion on color. My opinion right now, style wise, I think it fits the overall theme and design better. I'd love to hear Commissioner Scott's opinion.
Okay.
Yes, so should we do a motion or should we just discuss it first, Joe?
Mr. Chair, given where we are, I would suggest just open the floor for a discussion, then we could take a motion after we completed discussion.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, that's what I noticed, like Paul did, that last time you were discussing a roll-up door, and then this is a sectional overhead door. Have you confirmed that it will fit? I looked at it and overlaid a couple details, and it doesn't look like a roll-up door would fit, but that a low overhead sectional door would. But I don't know how accurate is the detail section of that head. Have you really looked at it and measured it and gotten the dimensions to make sure that a sectional overhead door will fit in there?
Hey, Scott. Yeah, we had overhead door come over. They are the biggest commercial door installer and seller in the world. And I guess there's a new design that they have that we only need 12-inch clearance.
Right.
So there's, it worked out nice because with a rolling door, we had 18-inch clearance. This one has 12. So we were able to get a better height. These are non-structural walls. So we never had to worry about the structure of them because the roof is structured on the other side of the building.
Okay, yeah, this is what I did to lay over there. It doesn't look like the coil-up door would fit, but an overhead door would. So that's better. And I guess the other question, Joe, did you give them the comments from the chairman of the Architectural Review Board? And because he wasn't very keen on a sectional overhead door either. He didn't feel that it was in keeping.
Mr. Scott, I provided the chair of the Architectural Review Board's comments to Mr. St. Onge and advised him he should share it with the design team, so to speak. Because again, I wanted them to be able to address them both if they came up, if the comments came up today and certainly tomorrow.
Because I was just thinking, and I wondered, and I emailed you and Kathy earlier today a picture of a bifold garage door. I don't know if you can show that, or you can put that up on the screen or not. They make them, and they're power operated, and I think they're very much in keeping with even an older door, because I think the picture of the garage door at the other filling station is a recent, not, well, when we say recent, the last 20 years, recent improvement there. So I don't think that's historical. But yeah, there we go.
You know, Mr. Scott, those look good. We like them. Can't get them for commercial. Can't find a builder. Can't find an installer. So that's a big issue.
And not to mention,
Okay, good.
to find something of that magnitude, in the way that those open, simply put, the budget for the doors, we're trying to incorporate everybody's ideas as best as possible. But we also have to think about financially what this will cost us in addition to buying this building. And that style of door just is not going to be feasible for us.
I would imagine that it is more expensive, but I wanted to bring that up, that they are available. And I think the other thing is, the other door that they make is, it looks like a 3 or 4 panel door, but it is a sectional roll-up door, which might look a little better. And I think that what I just showed you goes along pretty much with what the chairman of the Architecture Review Board had shown. And I think he sounded pretty firm on the appearance of these doors. But I mean, are you familiar with the faux sectional door, or faux bifold doors that are really sectional doors? Have you seen those?
We went through every option with overhead door on this, and we're trying to do the right thing here. We're trying to go through the boards and do these things proper, but I can't find an installer to do something like that in the state of Missouri. One, on a budget. Two, I can't find a manufacturer for stuff like that. They look really nice on the internet, but when you put them into a commercial application, it just,
Well,
can't
really
find it.
more, these are essentially the size of these doors. They are residential size, and these would be residential doors. And I know that overhead door can make put together a faux bifold door that looks like a bifold door, but it's actually a sectional door. I know that they could come up with that. It's just the pattern on the wood, the way they built it, but it is sectional. So I think a internet search finds that, and overhead door usually comes up with that.
Jim, you got a comment?
Yeah, are these doors, according to Metro West, and you got to get by their inspection too, are these going to be metal doors?
Yeah, they're aluminum insulated doors. They have like fire insulation in them, so we don't have to have a worry on that. They're safe.
So is it mandatory to have metal doors?
Yes. One, I don't think you can find a wooden door with a sectional type that has 12-inch clearance to do this. Yeah.
Well, but I'm saying, is the fire code mandating a non-flammable door?
That I don't know. We're spending extra money to do so. We feel it would look nicer here. But as far as fire code goes, no, I can I can go talk to Metro West about it though.
When you say a roll-up door, is this a door that recedes into a container that's mounted above the door?
No, sir. This is on a track style.
Oh, it's, okay. So what is it different about it than a like a paneled garage door?
The insulation factor.
So
is
mechanically, same thing.
gonna look the exact same.
Okay.
Is there anything, is there anything we can clarify, Joe and Kathy, as far, and I was reading the information when this was put on the register. Is there any difference between the two I mean, we've got the addition and we have the main building. I didn't see any separation of the two. I know this addition was in addition to that original building. And I'm not sure how that, the man door got put in there, but that definitely doesn't look historically accurate whatsoever for a gas station like this. So that seems to me that was an addition that was done sometime before we put this on the register. So is there any light you can shed on this addition that we're talking about? And this is the addition.
Well, assuming that the property owner prior to the McCurry's, which was 24-hour heating and cooling, got a permit for the addition, it was done prior to 1995. Because again, since 1995, the Department of Planning has not issued an authorization for an addition down there. So it predates the city of Wildwood.
But it also wasn't part of the original structure either.
No, the original structure is brick construction, where this addition is concrete block. So much simpler building structure, so to speak. And Mr. Scott may know more about it than I.
Okay.
30 years ago, we bought our bed, which we still are using, from the antique store there. And that was there then with those. Hasn't been changed since then, I know. So
Nice.
So that's the condition of the building now predates Wildwood.
And if you're wondering, it was Tony Haney who owned the building.
Yes, I bought our bed from him.
Do you know when the addition was put on to that, if you're looking at it, that left-hand side, that block? Because I tried finding information about when the addition was put on as well. And I want to say I read somewhere in the 80s, but.
I don't know. I have no idea. I got a feeling it's older than that, but not that much older. It was, I'm sure, put on probably 60s or 70s, which would also, that almost becomes historical now in itself. But
on St. Louis County, Missouri's website, there's historical aerial photography that's available. Oftentimes when I'm trying to narrow down when something was added or was included, I usually research back then. Certainly something we can investigate for you. But I've been coming out here since 1985 when I worked for St. Louis County, and I always recall it being there at that time. So,
Okay.
Teresa?
Thank you. So these, the panel doors to me look very good. I think they're understated. They don't look like they would be something that we would notice as we drove by as, oh, that looks wrong. I'm not an expert on these old gas station doors, but I did look through on the internet on, old gas stations and just looking through some pictures, images online. And there's a number of different designs, but I think that those would look fine. And my question is, are you going to have some kind of a signage that, with a signage, I think it takes the eye away from anything that might be just a little bit not typical of the era. So if there's signage above the doors, or where is your sign going to be?
You know, we are trying to get over this first hurdle first. And when we get to signage, we will cross that bridge when we get there. For now, we're trying to get the building closed on. We're trying to get these doors put up. And once we get there, we'll come to you guys for approval and talk about it then. But as of right now, this has really just been our main focus.
Okay, fair enough. But just from my viewpoint, I think that you've done well to come back with what you've got now.
Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you.
Yeah, so my only comment on this is I was coming to grips with the roll-up door back like on Monday before anything else came in. And you know, the black version that you mocked up, Lauren, looked really good to me. It was kind of subtle. It was black. It didn't really bring things out too much. So I came to grips with the roll-up door myself. But then, you know, the panel door, you know, to me that looks even better. And if it works better for the structure that getting this thing in, that's fine with me. I came to grips with the roll-up door personally, but the panel door looks better. It looks fine to me. So, you know, I think just getting rid of that little man door there and that window is a big improvement to the face of it. It's recessed, so you're not doing anything to the heart of the original building, which is I would be a little bit more staunch on things over there. So from my standpoint, what you're showing looks acceptable to me with a black door, because it's a little more, it blends in a little bit better, and it's not so, it doesn't stand out as much, and it still looks fairly historical, because you look down the street, you look at some of the other examples, it's a similar type door. I was trying to research 1925 buildings too, and I couldn't really find, they have the glass panels in the doors.
Yeah.
That's not something you want. So this is a good alternative to me. So that's my comments on the subject.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you. Yeah, we like the black the best too. And we took everything you guys had to say into consideration and regrouped and found this company. And we think that those panel doors look really, really nice as well. We're excited about them.
Now, Joe, do you want to share this goes to the ARB next. I know I briefly read in between my meetings today, some of the comments from the ARB chair, which, I'm not claiming to be an architect, so I didn't really understand what he was after there. Can you share what his comment was?
Again, Mr. Scott may be able to better interpret the chair's comments, but I think he was stating that contextually, this is a modern door on an old building. Mr. Scott, am I doing that correctly?
I think filling stations of this era did not have drive-in bays. The work was done over a pit outside. So I think you'll have a hard time finding a 1920s or 1915 gas station with a drive-in bay and a door. So I don't think we're going to replicate what they used then, because I don't think they used any of that. I think if you look at gas stations around here, they're tiny little things. They're just an office and a pump in front. In fact, there was one gas station near where we live at Hankin Road that was torn down maybe 15 years ago. that was sitting there, and it's a one room. There is no drive-in bay. So I think we are never going to find the proper door for it. So I think if we just get a decent looking door, and I think a panel type rolling overhead door probably would be acceptable. I'm questioning though, you mentioned a metal door. I don't think a wood door would be unreasonable. They make good wood doors that are weatherproof, and as long as they are not used constantly, like say a repair garage with up and down cars in and out all day. These are you take them out in the morning and put them back at night, that a wood door would stand up. And I think you could come up with more good design options for a wood door. And a wood door would be acceptable for a commercial use. There's no problem with fireproofing or anything else like that. This would work per the code. So that would be my feeling. And actually you can, as I mentioned, you can get a sectional overhead door in wood that looks like actually a swinging door.
So
And,
Nick,
I know
did they
metal,
offer
but
any
wood.
options? Nick, did Overhead Door offer any options like that when you talked to them?
No.
May I interject something here? I do. This is Charlie St. Ange. Sorry about that. I'm a little bit tardy. I do believe the fire department is probably going to have an issue with regards to a wood door. We can certainly call them and talk to them about it. The other thing I know that sometimes wood does is, especially in Missouri where you have such dry conditions and in wet conditions, it swells and it increases and shrinks and swells and makes life miserable there. But I do think the fire code is probably going to be huge with regards to a wood door there. Thank you.
Are we ready for a motion?
Well, I think you're working with an architect. I would ask him about that. I assume that what he's done for you, he has done a code check on the building, a code analysis. And I think he could tell you that. I'm talking off the top of my head. I don't believe it would be required, but I'm sure he would. So,
Daryl, do you know?
Did you ask Joe that question?
I think the architect he was asking.
Daryl,
Yeah, we have the architect.
do you know? Do you know if it has to be metal or wood? I'm trying to find out, folks. Hang on just a second.
Okay. Michael, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, first of all, thank you to the Giordano's for being interested in opening a business here in Wildwood for starters, and then considering property like this historic property that is vacant and putting it back to use, I think is a great thing. And then thank you also for your diligence in working with the city and trying to accommodate all of the questions and concerns that have been brought forward. And I would like to just say, I agree with what Teresa said, and also with Paul. I think that the black doors definitely looked good. And, I think they preserve the historic nature, and also I think the fact that the building will be brought back to life and being used and maintained and taken care of is something that also, in my opinion, preserves the historic value of it versus sitting there in rot. And, those black doors will be aesthetically pleasing and preserve that view as far as I'm concerned, and not take away anything from that. And I know wood's been brought up. I can imagine wood would be considerably more expensive as well. And obviously, when you're starting a business, the cost and investment that are going into it, especially during these trying times in the business world, are definitely something that should be taken into consideration as well. So I just wanted to give my vote of confidence in the black doors. I think they look great, and I appreciate what you've done to get that brought forward. And hopefully everything can go forward and move through for you. Thanks.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks, Michael.
Really appreciate it.
Go ahead. You can talk to them about the door. You speak up, they'll hear you.
Well, as far as I know on the door, I don't know that you're going to find a wood door that this size. This is the 10-foot wide by 9-foot high door. And I don't know that you're going to find a wood door that's going to be accessible, be available to put in there, and I wouldn't recommend it anyway. Most doors you're going to get right now are going to be aluminum or they're going to be steel. As far as the height of the door with the panel door and stuff that we've got in there, I was not aware that they could get an overhead door in less than a 12-inch radius on that overhead door. But this is something new that's come out that has a track that works with it. And that's the only reason we were able to get in there, because they can do it in about 6 inches from what I understand. And that's just about what we have in there to make it fit.
Thank you.
And out of those choices, that the raised panel that they showed, while it's not historically accurate, it's going to look good for the use, for functionally, as well as it's not going to draw away, or you're not painting a mural on the door like some people put murals on the door. That would be a little gaudy, and it would really definitely take away from the historic nature of the structure. Teresa?
I was just thinking about what Mr. Scott said, and many of the gas station garages that I looked at online from early 1900s had buildings but no doors on them, and in the picture it looks like it could be a black door. So the black door just I think it's something that you won't notice, and that's what you want. You want it to be something that people don't say, oh, that's standing out. I think if you had a fancy door, even if it was more something that you would find on an old gas station, it wouldn't fit with that building. It needs to be understated, and that black door just gives an image of nothing there.
So do we, does anybody want to make a motion as far as we're going today?
I have one other comment that's maybe a little off the subject. You mentioned that this wall is non-structural. Is that really true? Is it quite often the walls may not be carrying the roof, but they provide lateral support to the building in shear? And I just wonder if you've had a structural engineer look at this and see, because you're losing most of the wall by putting these openings in. And I found out it's quite difficult sometimes to do that, because you are counting on the shear strength of the wall. And I would recommend a structural engineer look at this, because I noticed the details did not show any lintel or bond beam over these doors, or any sort of structural design for the actual opening.
Yes, we have a professional company in doing the demolition and install on these doors. Well, they'll put steel there to make sure everything's structurally sound. We're not losing any integrity on the building walls, but doing so. That's why we're going to hire people to do so. This isn't going to be like a job that me and Lauren are going to tackle over a weekend. We're hiring this one out.
Well, it's really besides the historical point. It was just something that I saw and it gave me concern because I've had problems in trying to do the same thing with masonry walls.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Scott, if it helps, given the demolition component and then the addition of the doors, an authorization from the city and a county building permit will be required. So we'll make sure that we're not ending up with a building that sags because we didn't anticipate it.
So does somebody want to make a motion to approve the request with using the model 594 panel door in a black color? That's generally what we're looking to approve and send to the ARB, right?
I'll make that motion.
Yes.
Jim made the motion, right?
Yes.
Do I have a second? Then we can,
Second.
then Jan seconded it. Discussion? And I left off the wood, it sounds like wood is, you haven't been given any alternatives to wood, and we don't know if wood is acceptable from the fire department. So that's a detail that would have to come later, but as far as just the concept and the alteration goes from our standpoint, from our HPC standpoint, that's the motion and the second on the floor.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would not approve the metal door. I'm sure that a wood door at this size can be obtained. And I think a wood door would be more appropriate and we'd get a better design out of a wood door. A simpler design that would look good. But that would be the only reason I would vote against it.
So Joe, if we pass this, there'll still be a discussion at the ARB tomorrow about more details of this, but they would basically have our approval to make this alteration to this structure.
Yes, the Historic Preservation Commission will grant the authority to alter the historic asset. The Architectural Review Board then will be limited just to look at the doors themselves, so to speak, and any other alterations that might be discussed, but I think the doors are the subject.
Okay.
So you're the first step and the necessary step to allow the building to be changed.
Elizabeth?
Yes, thank you. Just a note to Nick and Laura. Several years ago, we built a oversized garage with a room up above in our residence, and we ran into a lot of expenses because of that, a detached garage. And so for 2 years, we didn't have any garage doors because we were saving our money. But they were pretty expensive and we wanted wood doors. And of course, the openings were made appropriately for the size garage. I don't know the sizes I wasn't at the last meeting because I had a surgery and I couldn't be there. So I'm a little distant on all the details. But I know you want to keep this within your budget. And I'm thinking a wooden doors are going to be more expensive, even if that does happen. And in my opinion, the metal doors look fine in appearance. And that's my 2 cents.
Okay, so I'm just going to call for a vote. All in favor of the motion in the second, say aye.
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 Opposed?
I oppose it.
Mr. Chair, the motion passes.
Okay, well, thanks, Nick and Lauren. We appreciate your time this afternoon.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
We're excited.
Thanks for working so hard, guys.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chair,
No problem. We're excited. We're gonna make this building look really nice. We appreciate it.
I
Thank you.
have confidence you will.
Thank you, folks.
Mr.
Thanks,
Chair,
guys.
Yeah, Joe.
before we conclude the meeting, I have an announcement to make. For all of you that have been part of the Historic Preservation Commission for a while, one of our key people, Kathy Arnett, is leaving the city of Wildwood. And so this will be her last meeting with the commission tonight. And I wanted to thank her for all she's done for the commission over the years and wanted to let you all know that she was leaving. And I'll turn the Zoom over to Kathy if she'd like to add anything.
Disapprove.
We don't want to approve that one, no.
I'd like to make a motion that we don't approve this.
Well, I've said it before and I'll say it again. You all are my favorite and I will miss you dearly. It's been an honor to work with HPC and you all are passionate and it is just fun to watch and it's been a pleasure to help and be part of it. So I thank you all and I will miss you all. But you can track me down. I'm not going far, just not with the city. So, but thank you all for everything.
Well, we
Thank you.
we appreciate the time you spent on this and you've been a fixture for a long time. I know personally I'm gonna miss your face all around at events and here and I just can't say enough for what a wonderful person you are. Not just a city employee, but a great person.
Well, thank you. It's
Amen.
been 20 years. So obviously I started work here when I was 10.
Well, yeah, and I appreciate everything you've done, Kathy, and I know Joe's going to miss you more than we are for the work you have done. And I would like to make a motion that we issue a commendation or whatever we can issue of appreciation to the service that Kathy has given to the city as well as our commission. If that's a proper motion to be made.
Well, we need to get that whole honoring thing going, and then we could do. I mean, we can do something there, right, Joe?
Well, certainly she could be one of the first candidates along with Lisa Kelp. Fortunately, she's alive and she'll be able to appreciate it. But I think Mr. Scott's motion is appropriate as well. Certainly, we could do some type of proclamation from the commission acknowledging her service.
Yes.
I'll take a second on that one. Who's going to second that? Chris, I saw your hand there. Oh, okay, sorry, Elizabeth. Elizabeth second.
Just do everyone.
All okay.
Everyone gets to-
All in favor?
Hi.
Okay, that motion passes really easy.
Thank you all.
Mr. Chair, that's all I think Kathy, Travis, and I have for you today.
Okay, well, sounds good. Thanks for your time today, folks. Appreciate it. And I know Michael, thanks for attending. I didn't think you were going to be there, so when I saw your face on there, that was pretty good. So, added bonus. Yeah, Elizabeth.
Kathy, what is your last day?
Next Thursday, the 18th, my last day.
The 18th. Okay. I'm not delighted about this, but I'm happy if you're happy.
I'm sorry. I'm happy. I'm actually going into the private sector, so I'm switching gears a little bit for, I'm sure I have lots of years left because I'm so young.
Yes, you do.
She's pulling to me is what she's doing. So
It's hard to let go of you.
Well, it's hard to let you all go. Like I said, you're my favorites.
okay.
You never know. I might just pop in on an HPC meeting one random Thursday night.
Oh yeah.
Like a bad penny.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll take a motion to end this meeting and we can just move on. Jim, motion.
So move.
Alan second, all in favor? Aye.
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 Thanks, everybody.
Yes, thanks for meeting on this, thanks for taking the time to be at this special meeting. It's very much appreciated. Thank you all. Stay healthy and stay warm out there.